Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining today's session from siloed documents to informed decisions. My name is Jesse Skirvin, and I'm a sales executive at Blue Star PLM. I'll be guiding you through today's conversation where we'll take a hard look at something every organization believes they have under control, document management, and why, in reality, it so often breaks down. Most companies today are drowning in documents, requirements, drawings, approvals, project files. Everything is documented, filed, and stored somewhere. On the surface, it looks like control. Dashboards are green, approvals are signed, and audits seem manageable until they aren't. What we see time and time again is an illusion of control. Documents exist, but they're disconnected from decisions. Revisions exist, but no one knows which one is valid. And approvals exist, but they don't trigger action. In this session, we'll explore why traditional document management fails, the hidden costs of version chaos and missing content, and what it really takes to move from document storage to a true decision system. So here's how we'll run today's session. I'll walk you through the story, the problems, the risks, and the three missing elements that separate documentation from real control. Throughout the session, one of our senior project managers, Rasmus, will jump in with short, focused demos inside Dynamics 365 to show how Blue Star connects documents to projects, approvals, changes, and decisions all in one system. By the end of today, you should have a clear picture of how organizations move from fragmented files and false confidence to real orientation, accountability, and audit readiness. So let me start with a simple observation. Most companies are drowning in documents and reports, but still fail in audits, they miss deadlines, or lose millions. So how can that be? On the surface, everything looks perfect. Every requirement is neatly filed in SharePoint. Every project manager shows you a beautiful dashboard where all milestones are green, and every approval is signed off somewhere in the system. And yet, when you dig deeper, you see the cracks. That approved requirement is outdated. The customer sent a new version last week, but it's stuck in someone's inbox. That drawing in the system, the reversion was updated, but the project plan still points to the old one. That project status marked on track. In reality, procurement never acted on the approval, and the parts won't arrive in time. So yes, everything is documented, but the truth is, documentation without orientation is just an illusion of control. It feels safe, but it isn't. So why does document management often fail? Here's the reality. Without structured document management, teams are forced to operate on assumptions, outdated files, or fragmented email threads, which inevitably leads to costly miscommunication and delays. So think about it. A requirement is updated in Word, but no one links it to the system. So engineering moves ahead with the outdated version. A drawing gets revised, but the project milestone is still marked on track. Approvals are signed off, but procurement never gets this trigger, so the parts never arrive. On paper, everything looks fine, but it's not. Transparency suffers when teams cannot trust that they're working from the same version of a drawing or spec. This makes traceability break down as changes in stakeholders' input scatter across disconnected systems. We've just talked about how documents, drawings, and approvals easily drift apart when they live in folders and inboxes. To show what it looks like when documents are actually connected to the system, I'll hand it over to Rasmus to walk us through how Blue Star brings structure, classification, and control directly inside Dynamics 365.
Hello everyone, I've been asked to give an introduction to our documentation in Blue Star. I will show you a simple smart object, how we work with the smart objects in Blue Star. I'll show you our Office integration and how convenient it is to check documents in and out. Firstly, I should say Bluestar is an integrated PLM solution in Dynamics F&O. So I'll start on the landing page of F&O here. The reason why this is beneficial is that the documentation represented on the PLM side is linked to the documentation on the ERP side. So we don't have the classic case where we need to migrate something from via a project or via some other work from one system into another system. So start our landing page here in F&O, and I'm going to navigate into our Smart Objects tab, which is the functionality we use to handle the documentation that is not related to our engineering objects, which some of you might know, where we have engineering objects, we might have drawings, etc., stuff that's specific to our assemblies or to our materials. With the Smart Objects, this could be a documentation that is relevant to our projects, that are relevant to our customers, etc. So I'll just quickly navigate to our Smart Objects tab from the landing page here. Go on to Bluestar PLM, so this is our tab, Smart Objects. As you can see here, this is my landing page for my system. You'll see already existing Smart Objects. I will create a new Smart Object. I'll just give it a quick name. And as you can see here, the tab on the right, I can select a template. You see already existing ones. I'll choose not to add one, just so I can add this a little later and show you how that works. And we can select a class for our new object. So the reason why templates and classes are important to the Smart Objects is that we can add a structure, and we can add, let's say when we make a new NPI project, we want to add the same document over and over again. We can assign a template and we can assign a set structure to that. So that would be the benefit of the template and inherent class. We can also add we can link a class to a template, and we can link a workflow to a template. And I'll get into workflows a little later. And all of that is just to streamline how we produce the documents and how the documents will be managed. But I'll use this as a one-off example just to show you how you can add things along the way. I'll click OK, and just find a new example here, and just quickly show you how to add a template. You can see here on the right side of the screen here in the tab, we have some different templates. I am going to select the NPI template, which is a docx. So recognize this as being a Word format. Since this is an Office integration, this could be a Word document, this could be a spreadsheet, this could be anything Office related. Click OK. As you can see, we open this in Word, and I have the opportunity to update the title block based on the input that we gave in Bluestar. You can see the name and the created by, the created date updates. And just to make this a simple example, I'll just check this in. And you can see just with this simple functionality in the Bluestar header, it's now checked in. And when I close this, it's all updated in Bluestar. You can see this is the bottom of my tab, updated as a design.
Let's talk about the hidden cost of the everything is documented illusion. So yes, everything is documented, but it's documented in silos like SharePoint, email, Teams, ERP attachments. And that illusion comes with very real symptoms. Endless hours spent searching, constant version chaos, audits that fail because the why is missing, projects that stay green right up until they suddenly turn red. And most companies will proudly tell you everything is documented. And they're right, it's just documented everywhere. Specs live in SharePoint, approvals are buried in email, clarification happens in Teams, attachments are scattered across ERP records. Here's a simple example. A project team needs the latest requirements spec. An engineer spends 2 hours digging through SharePoint folders. The project manager forwards an email with an attachment, but it's revision B, not revision C. Procurement places the order against the wrong version. On the dashboard, the project still shows green. In reality, the milestone is already broken. That's the hidden cost of the documentation illusion. Endless searching, version chaos, audits that fail because context is missing, and projects that look healthy right up until they collapse. This is where the everything is documented illusion really breaks down. Rasmus, can you show how Bluestar keeps documents synchronized, clearly stamped, and always tied to the current revision and approvals?
So we'll continue from our smart objects. Where we left off, this was in design. So not approved, this is just a draft, and I'll just quickly show you how to very quickly, very easily just put this to approved. I'll show you the how the data will be synced, and then how a revision stamp will be added to the smart object. So just navigate to the top of my screen to show change status, and I'll just select this as approved. But now see the status changed. I'll just go in quickly and show you. You remember this being the Word document that I had before. Show the file, and now at the top of the screen you can now see that it's received a stamp. You can see it's approved with this short approval stamp. And it's important to know that the stamp can be anything user defined for you. If this is if you are conscious that you have a drawing where it's very important that this doesn't cut into parts of the drawing or schematic, for instance, we can make it very small. We can make it exactly how you would like it. So any custom stamping is possible. That's very quickly just how you can approve and how you can stamp the item. Continuing from the previous example of the NPI template, the Word document, where previously I updated the status to approved, I'll now show you how to submit the smart object to a workflow, how you can assign the workflow, and I'll just show you I'll just assign it to my own user, and show you a little later how to connect smart objects to projects. And finally, I'll show you how smart objects can be made from not just from within BlueStar, but from anywhere in Dynamics. So, continue from the example. I'll pick the example that we had previously. I'll go up to my workflow tab here at the start and the top, and I'll show you the different templates here that we have to choose from. All these are based on the templates that I have here in my system. And I'll pick this previously defined one, which I know is a similar template. Select it here. And I will show you how the workflow looks. I find it easy just to look at the task in this overview. So you can see we have document review. This being marked in yellow marks that this is the active task. We can assign a responsible. Since I'm the only user here in my little demo system and I'm the admin, it just automatically assigned to me. But it's an opportunity to assign different user. So prior to me assigning this, you can see that I have 0 active tasks. I'll just update. You can see here in my Engineering Objects tab, which is usually what we call our landing page in BlueStar. You can see now I have 1 active task. So click on my active task, you'll see that the workflow pops up. I can then choose how to address this by the actions up here in the tab. I'll choose to complete the task just to show you. And I'll just write, it looks good, keep in mind something, and we'll approve it. You can now see the status has changed here, but I'll also show you in the workflow where now when I update, see the document review admin now is green, and now we move to document approval, the next part of the process. I'll just swap back to my task again. I'll just show you again how when I approve this, how the status is changed again. And I should note when updating, when I update this, that the different statuses we can customize to your needs. So if you want it to be a certain status, one part of your workflow, we can set that up. We can set up conditional routes, etc. All that is customizable. That is just a quick summary of our workflows. Now show you how to add a smart object to a project. So all of this can be done within the confines of a project. We'll navigate to our BlueStar module, and where before we were in smart objects, I'll now go to projects. I've built a project in advance, called it webinar project. I'll just show you the different links here as part of this project. So you'll see now, because it was a template that I used, you can see now it has different project stages, a scoping phase, as a build business process, as an implementation, and so on. And I'll just show you how you can add smart objects. So you have this, so you have your documentation related to the project. And I'll find our example from earlier. And as you can see, when I select this, I can pick how the link should either follow the ID, so whether or not it should just follow the latest version of the document, whether or not it should follow the latest revision, whether or not it should follow the unique revision. We have different advantages of whether or not you want to follow the ID or whether or not you want to follow the unique revision. So let's say you have one piece of documentation that's very specific to this project, and the unique revision is specific to this project. You can choose the unique revision, but you can choose how the links are done, and you can link the same document to different projects. So instead of having a workflow within your business where you have an update task for each different project, if you've set up the links correctly, if it links to the either unique revision ID and the revision that you are looking at, or just the latest ID gets updated, the project gets updated as well because they're linked and it's not a specific document to this project. That will be one of the key benefits I'll highlight here for projects. Lastly, I'll just show you how to to do the same thing that we just did from on the Bluestar side. I'll show you to do from the Dynamics side. So go into our vendors, show you here in my system, and I'll just show you how you can make a smart object from within here, just to show you that all our documentation we can do from anywhere. And you'll notice when I add the new smart object that this looks like the same tab that we had from the beginning. I can choose template. These are the templates that we had from before. Now it's just inherited the NPI name. You can choose to call it, just give it a random name here. I can also assign it a class before I forget. It's the same classes, etc. So everything is the same as before. I'll just show you how to do that now. I'll just pick the NPI one. You see it says new product implementation here. And again, we are since now I added to our vendor account 1001, I can link this the same way as with projects. I can link this to follow the ID, to follow the revision, or to the unique revision. I'll just choose to follow the ID here, just to give you an idea of how that looks. But that's shortly summarized how you add the documentation to both from a Bluestar perspective and from a Dynamics perspective.
So what's the real world impact? When document control is only an illusion, the consequences show up fast, and they show up in the business. First, there's rework. Decisions get made, but they aren't followed through. An approval exists somewhere, but the downstream teams never see it or act on it. Engineering moves ahead, manufacturing builds, and weeks later everyone realizes they were working from the wrong assumption. The result is avoidable rework and lost time. Next, there's cost overruns. When approvals aren't directly linked to actions, nothing moves automatically. Procurement doesn't know when to place an order. Projects absorb the delay, expediting costs pile up, and suddenly budgets are blown. Not because the decision was wrong, but because it wasn't connected. Then there's audit stress. Most audit failures don't happen because documents are missing. They happen because context is missing. The auditor doesn't just ask what was approved, they ask why. Which requirement drove the change? Who approved it? What was the impact? When that context is scattered across files, emails, and inboxes, confidence disappears real fast. And finally, supplier misunderstandings. A clarification is sent by email. A drawing is updated somewhere else. The supplier works from an older version, and disputes follow. Delays, rework, and finger pointing become the norm. And all because the clarification wasn't tied to the exact document and revision it was applied to. Now compare that with a different outcome. A supplier clarification is directly linked to the approved spec at the correct revision. Everyone from engineering, procurement, and supplier sees the same version with the same context. Questions are answered once, work moves forward, disputes and delay are avoided. That's the difference between fake control and real control. And it's where document management starts to deliver real business impact, not just stored files. So we know the problems and the symptoms, but how do we actually fix this? The answer isn't another document repository, and it's not another standalone project tool. The real solution is to turn document storage into a decision system, and that's exactly what Bluestar delivers. With Bluestar, projects and documents live together natively inside Dynamics 365. There are no silos, no exports, and no handoffs between disconnected systems. Everything operates in one environment using one shared data model. Every approval, every task, and every clarification is directly traceable back to a decision: who made it, when was it made, and why was it approved. That traceability doesn't disappear once a document is signed off. It stays connected throughout the lifecycle. And this is where the real difference shows up. Approvals just don't get filed away, they trigger action. Procurement orders are placed, project tasks are updated, quality checks are initiated. The system doesn't stop at documentation. It actively drives follow-up and execution. Everything is linked: documents, projects, changes, quality records, and engineering data. It's a single digital thread, not a collection of scattered silos pretending to be a process. And the impact is tangible. Fewer errors because teams work from the same truth. Faster projects because decisions don't stall in inboxes. Audit readiness because context is always available. And ultimately, more trust. Trust that the data is accurate, the process is under control, and the project is truly on track. That's not just document management, that's orientation. And that's what Bluestar delivers. Today, most organizations still focus on order and storage. Documents are filed, folders are organized, revisions are numbered. On paper, everything looks controlled. But tomorrow, the leaders will be companies that focus on decisions and orientation. Not just where documents live, but how decisions are made, executed, and trusted across the business. The shift is subtle, but powerful. It's a move away from fragmented storage and disconnected approvals toward a single, shared understanding of truth. A move away from version mismatches and inbox-driven decisions toward a system that provides clarity, accountability, and follow-through. At its core, this is about eliminating chaos. Eliminating the chaos of documents scattered across systems, eliminating the chaos of mismatched versions, eliminating the chaos of approvals that don't actually control anything, and replacing it with a single, secure, structured source of truth where every document is connected, every decision is traceable, and every action is driven by context. This is where document management stops being an administrative task and starts becoming a strategic initiative. Because when documents drive decisions and decisions drive action, organizations move faster, reduce risk, and operate with confidence. That's the direction the industry is heading, from projects and documents to decisions and real business impact. That brings us to the end of today's session. We've covered the illusion of control, the real business impact of disconnected documents, and what it takes to move from document storage to true decision systems. And as a final takeaway, document management shouldn't just help you store information. It should help you turn plans into action. If you'd like to explore how Bluestar can help you close the gap between planning and reality with powerful connected document management inside Dynamics 365, please reach out to the contact information provided. Thank you for your time and attention, and we look forward to continuing the conversation.